What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jake Podger, your host tonight for the Mafia Midweek Therapy Session. And we are joined by a special guest, as well as my co-host, Sean Kula, tonight. But, it's going to be an interesting show here, folks, because the Bills play on Thursday night, tomorrow. And typically the Mafia Midweek show is for us to sort of digest and break down a little bit from, the previous game, talk about it a little bit and see what's going on, throughout the week and kind of, clear the air on some things that, are left over from the previous game. But we really don't have time this week. So I do want to introduce our special guest, Mr. Cody Smith from the Fantasy Draft Room, a guy that's been on our show frequently in the past, but your number one Dare Ogunbowale fan, your number one Texas A&M fan, and your number one Texans fan. This guy knows it all. He's an incredible fantasy guru. He's got some wicked hot takes. And by that, I actually mean they're really good hot takes. But really excited to have him on the show tonight. Cody, welcome to the show, brother. Big tilt this week. First off, want to ask you how you're doing and welcome you back because it's been a little bit, brother.
Has been a little bit. Always good to get back on. This is kind of the only content that I'm doing right now after doing it for a couple of years. So it's always good to get back on the camera, get back on the mic. And I appreciate you all for letting me do it because although I know it's a Bills show, but bringing on the enemy, I guess, in a week is, not always the best thing. But I think I'm pretty even keeled with y'all. And I can probably tell you right now, I'll just give it out right now. Texans aren't going to win this game, but we'll at least talk through it and we'll talk about how they could win the game because I do think it is in the realm of possibility. I just don't think it's going to happen. But always good to be back on the show. Hashtag extend cam. We got to throw that one out there before we even get off the mic. But I'll throw it back to y'all. And appreciate you all for letting me on.
I love it, man. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And I love the optimism as Mills Mafia faces against Bills Mafia. Gonna be a good one. Sean, what's going on, brother? What's new with you, man? You've been breaking down some O-line film. Have you watched this film reviewer guy on Instagram who just absolutely rips into the Raiders O-line every week? It's incredible. If you haven't had a shot,
you have to send me the link.
I think he goes by Film Watchers or something like that. He's gotten some notoriety. He actually has broken down some of the Bills film too. He talked about Eddie Oliver earlier on in the season and some other stuff, but loves the O-line and just gave the Raiders O-line the business this past week. Really just vouching for Ashton Genty. I absolutely love it. But how you doing, man? What's new?
Same old. Ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope so. This is going to be a good matchup. You know what? I know you mentioned it in our Discord. By the way, if you haven't joined our Discord, it's in the description below. We talk football all week. I know I have to be better by getting in there and commenting. I see everything. It's just really hard to keep up, and I do my best. But shout out to everyone that is so active in there, Sean being one of those folks. Cody, I saw you post a nice clip of Reggie Gilliam in there. So join the Discord. It's free. We talk football 24/7. It's great stuff. What was I saying here? Something about... Gosh, I totally lost my train of thought there.
Hey, Reggie Gilliam will do that to you.
The Reggie Gilliam thing. Yeah, so Cody posted that in there. That was incredible. But yeah, no, I know this is what it was. So Cody, you had also mentioned if the Bills don't win by 20 against the Texans, we should just consider that a loss. So you have very minimal optimism coming into this game. But I'll tell you what, man, for whatever reason, this Buffalo Bills team, I don't know why, but we always seem to play down to our competition. Now, this is no disrespect to the Texans because I believe you guys have the number one scoring defense in football in terms of points allowed. And just what you've done on the field and with some of the players that you have and Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, Caleb Bullock, and Derek Stingley, and some other guys, Shair. You guys have some players on that defense especially. And by the way, Nico Collins, who is still quarterback proof in my opinion. You got some special players on the team, but what makes you so this is going to be a blowout game? Like if you guys don't win this, you'll be shocked. What makes you feel that way?
It may have been a couple of alcoholic beverages and maybe typed that late night whenever it got out. But no, it's Davis Mills being a quarterback, and I know we've won our last two games with Davis Mills. I don't think he's a below average backup in the league. I think he's very serviceable. But this offense, and while the offensive line has been better, if we score 17 points, I'd be surprised. Now there's an X factor to it. There's an X factor to it because if we can dominate in one area, I do think that we can, actually get some points. We historically over the last 5 games have gotten some points whenever we do that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I just don't believe in this team to be consistently enough on offense. I know it's been better. It's seriously looked better with Davis Mills actually than it has with CJ Stroud through the first 8 games whenever he was playing versus the last 2 games, whatever the week total matches up to now at this point. But I mean, we've also played a broken down Jaguars team during that time, and the Tennessee Titans during that time. It's not exactly the greatest litmus test, and I think we do have a good litmus test against y'all this week to see what that actually looks like. So I do believe in this defense. I still think they're a top 5 unit in the league. They've been performing in some statistical areas as the top unit in the league. We'll get some more of those stats later on tonight, but the defense I'm fully confident in, but this offense and even the kicking game, again, we'll see where that goes too as well. So I still have major concerns in 2 components of my team, and I don't have really – there's one portion of the defense on y'all's side that I'm sure we'll get to, but I don't have enough faith in this team right now to actually be contending with what I still believe, especially after last week's performance, one of the top teams in the league.
It's interesting too, because I still think that the AFC South is wide open. Like that Jaguars win last week against the Chargers, it's a big win, but we don't even know who the Jaguars are. You want to talk about inconsistency. Like they are super inconsistent. I know you guys had a squeaker against the Titans where you just squeaked one out and win that game, but you got your backup quarterback playing. You're going through some injuries. The O-line, of course, really not playing up to par, like you said. But yeah, I think the one thing holding it together really has been that defense. You guys still got some players and some nucleus guys that are going to get you some wins. I still think the Texans are going to be AFC South champs or competing for it. I know it's crazy to say because the Colts are killing it.
Yeah.
I think the Colts are due for a little bit of a fall off, and that's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think at the end of the season. So I have some optimism for you. I'm going to put it in you here, Cody, but I don't want to put too much into the Texans because obviously I want the Bills to win tomorrow. So going to be a really interesting matchup. So, yeah, and it's interesting because the last time I think the Bills faced up against Davis Mills was a 40-0 victory. The Bills' last shutout, I want to say. And, Sean, you were at that game.
Yeah,
so,
I was there.
Yeah, how about it? How about it, man? So let's talk a little bit about some things that are going on the Bills side. So, first off, Trek Reviewer coming in hot. Hashtag cut Cam and a new name, Keon. And he's referencing the one and only Keon Coleman. So we got some news today, according to a source, a.k.a. the source being Cover One and Eric J. Turner, that the Bills are going to bench Keon Coleman for the 2nd straight game. Now, the last time this was put out there into the interwebs and into the space, it was true, and it did happen. So you almost have to take his word that it's probably going to happen again. Now, it's interesting because the Bills are going to be without Mecole Hardman as well as Curtis Samuel for this game. So we're already down 2 receivers. You would expect them to probably elevate Gabe Davis. And I would think if Keon's not going to play in this game again, that Elijah Moore will also be active. But I want to talk to Sean a little bit about this and get your thoughts. Now, if this does happen, what does this tell you about the state of things with Keon Coleman? Is it just that the offense performed so well in his absence that we feel like we're just going to ride the hot hands and keep the guys that have been producing in there? Or is there something deeper? Is he missing these meetings? Is he still not gotten it through his head that he needs to be a professional? What's going on, dude? This is insane.
I don't know. It seems like that's a question you should ask Eric since he's got all the answers. But
I knew you were going to a little bit of sass.
But no, I don't know. I mean, if McDermott said they have a strike system and, he got the 3 strikes and got suspended for the game. Not suspended, but they benched him for the game. Now, I don't think, unless it was talked about before, that he was going to miss the whole week, because it was a Thursday night. Maybe I'd understand that, but maybe he missed another or late again during the week, and they're like, okay, now you're going to sit out again. But I think if he did miss another one, that would have been talked about. So I think maybe when it happened, it was like, okay, you're going to miss a whole week. And because the game fell on Thursday, we got 2 games in the week. So they kind of just said, okay, take this whole week off and, reevaluate, regroup. And for the Pittsburgh game after Thanksgiving, just come out and be ready. But again, who knows? We know the deal with him. The rumors are, he's off the field in the locker room. He's not mature, all in it like everyone else is, and he's got a lot of growing to do. So, I think with what you heard from Dion and Allen against, after the Miami game, they all seem fed up with that kind of attitude. So I think a lot of people put it on McDermott that, he doesn't like McDermott, so they clash, and then, McDermott's picking on him. But you heard Dion after this past game, he's got to grow up. He knows that, we all talk to him. We expect, him to be there for us, and he's letting us down, in other words, so I just think he's got to deal with the punishment, and we'll see after this week, but I wouldn't be shocked if he missed this game. But like you mentioned, we'll have to wait and see, because maybe Elijah Moore will play, maybe he won't. But I don't know.
And then my question to you next is, once he does become active again, if he does, or if he is even active tomorrow, how much time does he actually get on the field? Like, is he still the starter? I think Shavers has earned an opportunity to be the wide receiver 2 on this team. Wide receiver 1 being Josh Palmer, 2 Shavers, and then 3 the slot guy, Khalil Shakira, who, by the way, just welcomed a baby this week. So congratulations to him. I would hammer that anytime touchdown as hard as you can, because it's probably going to happen. He's got to go absolute sicko mode. I mean, birth of his new baby, it just goes hand in hand, right?
Got to.
I mean, he's gonna go off. But what would you do, Sean? I mean, do you think Shavers should be the wide receiver 2 moving forward here?
I mean, you got to get Keon back in the game. Whether he starts or not, you can't just, okay, here's your punishment, and now we're just going to have you active and never play a snap. So he's going to have to get reps, earn them on the field, and then it's going to be a mental roller coaster for everybody, because I'm sure the players, if it was me anyway, and a teammate was like that, I wouldn't want to, especially if I was like the quarterback, I wouldn't want to feed that guy, because, of what's been going on in practice, and, basically letting your team down. I wouldn't feel motivated to get that person involved. So it's going to be on Josh and Brady and Keon to show, that doesn't matter. We got to move forward. And then if he does get opportunity, whether it's blocking or being a clear out route, just do something. He has to be 150% in it. And then, maybe when people see him on the field giving his all, like, okay, let me give him a throw here, or let's get him involved somehow. But he's not going to be a focal point, or starting, or okay, let's give 10 plays for Keon, or let's force feed Keon like we did a couple weeks ago. So it's just about earning that respect back and proving to your teammates that you're in it, for the team and not just for yourself. And it's a lot for a young kid to do, especially if he's got issues like this for your last year and this year's. So he's got to grow up fast, really.
This has Kaiir Elam vibes like written all over it to me, and it sucks, because we've kind of seen the story play out where these high picks are just not producing, and then there's an issue maybe behind the scenes where it just prevents them from getting on the field, and they're healthy scratches, which is just so incredibly frustrating, I think, as a fan. And then you rub more salt in the wound when guys like Xavier Worthy and Xavier Legette last week catching touchdown passes, going for 82. It's hard to watch, So, yeah, if I'm the coach, honestly, I work him back in the mix by allowing him to get on the field by playing specials. You're going to play gunner. You're going to be a complete football player before you become a wide receiver 1 again for this team. Like, you need to earn your way back, because I definitely think Shavers has earned his time on the field, throwing blocks, doing all the right things. By the way, playing specials too in his own right. But yeah, it sucks. The whole thing sucks. But Cody, from afar, as a fan of a different squad, but looking from the outside in here, I mean, what do you think of this whole situation? What do you make of it?
So, I mean, obviously, just to start off, it is tough. I mean, I wasn't the biggest Keon Coleman fan coming out. I thought he was a little bit overdrafted where y'all took him, but I understood why. Like, Josh Allen loves the big 6'4" wide receivers on the outside that can go up and catch the ball. And you're trying to fill that need. I understand why the pick is made. The interesting theory that I heard thrown out on a show earlier today was, if the timeline is right, and if the person that I'm watching is right. It was starting to be rumored that he was going to be inactive on like a Thursday. And then on Friday, it was coming out that he missed the practice. And it was like, okay, well, did they tell him he was going to be sat on Thursday and then he missed the Friday practice because he was upset that he was going to be sitting that week? And then now you have an extra game put on here because, hey, you just got so upset with us and the decision that we made that you decided to go against the team and sit this week. And now we're going to sit you for another week because of the actions that you just made. Now, that's all theoretical, hypothetical type of stuff, but timeline on it and everything that got reported kind of does make sense there. So,
Checks out.
It's one of those things that I hope he can turn this thing around, come back to being a legitimate wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, because you never want to see anybody's career cut short just because of some potentially rash decisions or anything like that. And I do think he has the ability to be a contributing good wide receiver within him, to the level that maybe he was drafted at, maybe not, but I do think that he has a role within this team moving forward. So it's a weird situation that maybe we'll learn about with the inner workings of it later on, but it's just hard to speculate on everything that's going on with him right now.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get to some of the comments here. I see Mike. I see you out there. By the way, happy anniversary to our guy, Mike Thornton. That's why he is not on the show tonight. Didn't mention that, but Mike is typically on the show as the main host here for the most part. Shout out to you, Mike. 14 years and counting. I hope you and the wife are living it up and eating a really good meal right now. So maybe you're not because you're in the comments. So get back to your anniversary, Mike. What are you doing? Trey, good to see you out there. Speaking of the Discord, Trey always giving a lot of intel and insight on what happens to be going on with this team. And he has made his feelings heard several times. And we appreciate the hell out of you, Trey. Good to see you out there. Excited for this tough game, strength versus strength. Absolutely. Looking sound great. Hashtag extend cam wrapping up. There it is. Boom. Anniversary dinner. He's just wrapping it up. Why does Sean always have to be higher than everyone? Nice move putting him in the middle. Yeah, nice little balance there. I actually, when I saw that comment, I kind of sat up a little bit there.
My camera's low too. I don't know.
Yeah, my camera's pointing down. That is weird. Sean, I mean, I've seen him in person, and he's been right next to me. He's, what are you, 6'1", 6'2", maybe?
Probably 6 foot, maybe.
What do we got at weight right now? How much are we weighing in at these days?
225.
Nice. I like that. A solid 225 at that.
Yeah.
Steve, good to see you. Yeah. Steve said, I have had enough Sabres for tonight. I saw they were down 3-2 coming into the show. Let's see if we can get an update on that score because, oh my gosh, 6-2. What the heck happened? So when we joined here, yeah, how about those Blues? Man.
They suck too.
Yeah, you're joining the club with us there, Code. Man. Yikes. And the thing is, we're playing the Flames. The Flames are awful this year. Good God, they scored 4 goals in the third against us. 6-2. Steve chasing the dollar, but I'm sorry to hear that, Steve. But I do want to mention on December 3rd on our Mafia midweek show, Steve will actually be joining us to do a special show where he talks about how to cook the perfect steak, maybe talks about his fandom for the Buffalo Bills. You want to talk about some midweek therapy. Nothing says midweek therapy like a little bit of food and some cooking. So you don't want to miss that one. That is Wednesday, December 3rd. So 2 weeks from now, you guys will catch us on that one. That'll be a good time. I know Mike and myself.
Is he going to actually have a steak where he's cooking it too?
I don't know. I can only speculate. He's kind of giving us a rundown. We've been emailing back and forth. So we have a very rough agenda right now. So I don't want to reveal too much, but definitely excited for that one. So you don't want to miss that. Definitely don't want to miss it, especially if you're like a barbecue cookout type guy. Weston, good to see you out there, sir. He said, but hey, you won't have to worry about us come playtime. Come playoff time, we are so cooked. Weston definitely not feeling great about his squad right now.
That would be nice,
I'll
Weston,
tell you what.
But...
You know, I had mentioned maybe the Colts would fall off eventually. So the Colts are going to be playing the Chiefs this week. I think the Chiefs are going to bounce back and win that game. So that's one loss for the Colts. However, I'm hoping the Texans also have a loss this week, so it kind of evens out, right? But I think come down the final stretch there, like as good as the Colts have played, I feel like water always eventually finds its level. I think they're a good team, but I don't necessarily think they are as good as what their record is indicating. There's going to be a moment where they're going to look a little fraudulent. They're going to go through some trials and tribulations, and that AFC South's going to get a lot closer at the end. So, Cody, keep that optimism, brother. Not this week, though. Not this week.
Not this week.
Steve, what Cody just said really makes sense. Thinking back upon Keon's interview after the game, I think he knew he was sitting before he missed the meeting. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think you're spot on with that. But that to me actually makes him look even worse because he's just being spiteful and petty at this point. I think as a true professional, you take ownership, you take responsibility, and you listen to what you're told and you do your thing. I mean, you're being paid millions of dollars to play a game, the greatest game on this God's given earth. I mean, what are we doing here? It's crazy. And the problem is, I would say we can go ahead and trade him, but the trade deadline's already gone. So we got to wait a whole year now, essentially. We can't cut the guy just yet. I mean, we're too early on here. I mean, luckily he's still just on his rookie contract, but I think if there is any sign or indication that the Bills are ready to move on from Keon Coleman, try to get some value out of him. So maybe this offseason we got to talk about him not being a Buffalo Bill anymore and potentially trading him away or something. Cody, can you send us like 3 Texas A&M defensive linemen in the draft?
We can potentially send you one in Cassius Howell. That's definitely for sure. That guy is absolutely awesome. Do love him. Good. Now there's hey, I mean, I know you're saying the Chiefs might not even be playoff teams, but he could drop a little bit because apparently his arm length isn't up enough to the stuff of NFL evaluators and their cutoffs or whatever. So maybe he does drop a little bit and you can get a Cassius Howell in your team.
Very interesting.
Or hopefully not too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You guys have had enough, Weston.
I'm looking at Howell right now, by the way. 6'2", 248. Yeah. Interesting. The measurables definitely interesting on this guy. Yeah, they're definitely in the lower percentiles on certain things. So yeah, you never know. I hope not. Trey, Cole Bishop proved me wrong this past month. He's been so good. Yeah, he's definitely been a bright spot for our defense. It's good to see the young man come into his own. I mean, 2 straight games with an interception. Honestly, it was the game-altering play I feel like that he made last week on his interception. It really swung the momentum a little bit and, set the Bills up for success. So absolutely love to see it. Listen, I said Harrison Smith 2.0 when he was drafted. So I'm really hoping that comes to fruition, but definitely some big shoes to fill because Harrison Smith is a potential future Hall of Famer. So, yeah. It's because Sean is right about everything. LOL, Weston.
That'd be nice, but...
Here we go, Trey. Cody, is there any part of this Texans defense that can be attacked? Or what is more likely, run game or deep balls away from Stingley? What do you think about that?
I don't know if it's deep balls away from Stingley because I don't know if you have the offensive skill players on the outside to really attack anything. Like we've got Lassiter on the other side. Potentially in the slot with the matchup if we're putting blanking on the name, but if we're putting our nickel against Khalil Shakir, I think that's a little bit attackable for sure. I think that if we can talk, James Cook out of the backfield is definitely another potential spot that y'all can attack pretty well. And then Josh Allen in the run game. The Texans, with as much man as they play, have definitely been susceptible to the quarterback run over the past over this year. I mean, we lost the game whenever Baker Mayfield scrambled for like 40 yards on a play at the end of the game. I do think we'll play that plug man thing with Al-Shaair on him a good bit to try to limit that. So we'll see what Josh Allen can do on the legs, but I do think just between the run game, I think it's a big James Cook game because I don't think the passing attack, at least outside of a Khalil Shakir run yards after catch type of game, can probably do that much damage just with the offensive skill players. Know we love some Tyrell Shavers, and I know maybe Josh Palmer's the other wide receiver one right now, but I will take the Kamari Lassiter and the other cornerbacks on this team and Stingley. I will take them in that matchup every single time.
Yeah, you guys definitely have one of the best secondaries in football. Now, one key player that is going to be missing from your defense, who has been in concussion protocol, joining the likes of C.J. Stroud, has been Jalen Petrie. So he's been Correct. Your nickel corner. And honestly, this is a guy that he switched from safety to nickel, and he's been a pretty good player, man. He's been a solid player in that defense. So I know we were talking a little bit about it before the show. So you said Miles Bryant typically will then move over and play in the nickel spot. He played 100% of the snaps last week. Do you foresee that being the case again?
Yeah, definitely with him already being ruled out, obviously for this game as well. He played 100% of the snaps last week, so either he's typically the big nickel that they'll put in if they do want to take Petrie out, or he'll be playing safety. For the last couple of weeks that Petrie's been out, he's been playing 100% of the snaps, rotating in as the nickel cornerback or playing the safety whenever they go to that type of defensive formation.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I want to read some numbers for you because, there is a very this is a tough line to follow. Josh Allen, the last game he played against Houston, which happened to be last season. And honestly, it's funny because the only receiver to catch a touchdown in this game was Keon Coleman, 1 for 49 and a touchdown.
Where he stepped out, but yes.
Exactly, controversial call. Josh Allen goes 9 for 30, 131 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a 56.4 quarterback rating in this game, and had it not been for that 49-yard touchdown pass, would have been over 100 yards passing on the day. Arguably one of the worst games he's probably played in his career. You guys really limited him, and now we gave it a go towards the end of the game there, where Josh had an incredible run and did some really special things, even so, with the stat line being the way it was. You definitely limited the pass game a lot last season. Now, I didn't see a whole lot of change in the secondary from last year to this year. I guess outside of the Petrie thing.
Outside of Petrie injury, yeah.
But, I think, I agree with what you're saying with the passing game. James Cook, last time he played against you guys, 20 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown, caught 2 for 17. And actually, I think he should have had a receiving touchdown in that game too, but he dropped it. So I can foresee a big-time game from him, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Get him back and rolling, because the last 2 weeks have been a little tough for him, I think people are okay with it just because Josh Allen went psycho mode last week.
Right.
And you want to talk about just like a Josh Allen game in general. Like, if you ask someone, who is Josh Allen? And I know Pardon My Take kind of talked about this on their podcast a little bit, Big Cat talking about it. Who is Josh Allen? Josh Allen is the guy that throws the dumbest, most boneheaded interception to start the game off, but then just goes off and throws 3 and rushes for 3 and, has this incredible fantasy performance and still somewhat has like an off day, but kind of a crazy, insane day at the same time, if that makes sense. That's Josh Allen. So, and it can happen at any moment. So, time will tell. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I definitely agree with what you're saying on the James Cook thing. Let's see. Let's go to some of the other comments here. John Robert, good to see you out there. We don't know the complete situation, talking about Keon Coleman. I don't think we as fans know the complete situation. Yep. Do you guys hope that we see Shaq Thompson and Dorian Williams instead of Bernard and Milano tomorrow to allow them a chance to get healthy? Sean, I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah, of course, because Milano and Bernard have been awful, so it'd be nice. But, I just think Milano's been past his time, and Bernard, of course, he has to come out and say, "Oh, I'm battling through an ankle injury." Well, then don't play because you're playing awful and you're hurting your team. So, like, I haven't ran in since I got out of the Army in 2019. I could have caught Baker Mayfield on that 4th and 3 run, and I would have laid his ass out. And if he weighs probably less than Baker Mayfield, so if you can't catch him in open field, then you shouldn't be on the field. He's definitely hurting the team. Even though Shaq Thompson's old, he's proven when he's out there that he's superior of the linebacker core. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing at this point, but I think they perform better when Thompson's on the field and when Dorian Williams is on the field. And I know people's pushback is, oh, well, Dorian Williams can't cover. Well, Bernard can't cover and he can't stop the run well anymore. So I'd rather take a guy who can't do one thing than a guy who can't do 2. And at least Dorian Williams, he may not be great at covering, but he's fast and athletic. So maybe he could be in the way of a play or catch up to a guy that makes a catch, or his closing speed is better than the other 2. Now I still want them to play, of course, but I think we would be better off if at this point, while Bernard is recovering, if those guys start and then Milano and Bernard work in. I know it sounds really crazy, but it's been out there. The film shows it, and when you watch the games, you notice it too. You're just like, wow, we can stop the run better when these guys are on the field. The defense looks way better when they're on the field.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think Bernard definitely has looked like kind of a shell of himself from last year, and it's unfortunate because he was named a captain, one of 2 captains on the team. And I think last week was a little bit better. He made some plays.
Yeah, he made some plays, yeah.
But he definitely looks slow. I think that ankle is still definitely bothering him. You could tell. And I think that is I'm hoping that's why he looks slow, because if that's him at full gear, I mean, we got to talk about.
It's not even really just his speed. It's like his play recognition. It's the way he attacks the holes and the ball carrier. He waits for blocks to get to him. Obviously, he can't shed them because that's where, like, I always say I don't care about if you're undersized or not, because if you're undersized and fast, you got to use your speed to your advantage. But he doesn't. So that's when being undersized doesn't help you, is when you wait for blocks to get to you and then you try to react. And then him and Milano, they just – and people like – I know it's a whole complete defense to stop the run, but when you watch all these big runs that we get gashed on, the D-line is doing their job. They're eating up the blocks. They're pushing guys out. And then the linebackers are on the other side of the field. And then it's just Jordan Poyer to try to get through Tristan Wirfs and then try to tackle Sean Tucker. Like, that's not going to happen. And, you could blame the defensive play calling, you could blame whatever, but if you call the right play and then the players aren't executing the play, that's what happens. You get big 44-yard runs. And now Sean Tucker, Syracuse, man, he's solid. People were like, oh, he's an undrafted rookie. He made the roster last year.
It's a good player.
For Tampa Bay. So yeah, he was undrafted, but he's got talent. But still out of position all the time, getting washed away. It's just, sad, because they both were, especially Bernard last year was incredible, and Milano just keeps downhill every year, and his time's probably coming to an end.
Yeah, Father Time is undefeated, and so are the injuries. So it's just unfortunate with Milano, especially because, I mean, this guy was the heart and soul of our defense, honestly.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. And speaking of the injuries, I do want to talk about those a little bit. So I had already mentioned, Jalen Petry's going to be out of this game with a concussion. CJ Stroud as well for the Texans, going to be out officially. So it is going to be Mills Mafia time. And then your linebacker, Jamal Hill, who I believe was your 6th-round pick. More of a special teams guy, I want to say.
Yeah, he hasn't really played meaningful snaps, at least on the defense this year. So it's not as much of a detriment to the defense.
Gotcha. But speaking of special teams, by the way, Kaimi Fairbairn going to be kicking for you guys. Guy's been lights out, and honestly, one of the more underrated kickers in football. How are we feeling about that? And by the way, can you pronounce Kaimi Fairbairn's full name?
Oh, absolutely not. No, that thing.
I'm gonna have to copy paste that and put that one in the.
That is an
here.
absolute mess. Unfortunately, on one of my main dynasty teams, I had the only team that uses kickers. I had to drop him at the beginning of the year because I'm like, I can't roster a kicker for a team that's only scoring like 14 points a week. Like, I just can't do it. But his nickname in Sleeper was the entire fully written out Kaimi. I'm not even going to try to butcher it.
I'm gonna paste this. So it's John Christian. Yeah, he was. Yeah, John Christian followed up by this. If it sends, let's see if it'll send. It's just loading.
Yeah, I got it on my end. It just went through.
There it is. Yeah. So if you could pronounce that name, I'll give you $5. I mean, I'll give you $20 if you could pronounce that name, because that is something real crazy.
Yeah, but he injured his hamstring whenever he first went out, and that's what happens whenever you force your kicker to make 5 field goals in a game, because you don't have any red zone offense and you can't score touchdowns, and we're forcing it all on him. He's honestly he's still a top guy, but he has gone a little bit downhill as of late, from like the second half of last year, I think, to through this year. He's missed some interesting ones that just happen to start hooking right or stay left or whatever the case is. But definitely glad to have him back. I know we won the game last week off of a last second field goal from, I can't even remember the name of the kicker that we picked up. Matthew Wright. There it is.
Shout out to Matthew Wright, by the way. He kind of looks like my buddy Alex Heim, so I want to give him some love. But he's been on a lot of NFL teams.
He's bounced around a lot for sure, yeah. But glad to have Kaimi back, or Kimi as he's called by the Houston Texans organization. So it's definitely an addition, definitely not a subtraction to get him back. As long as he is actually healthy with that hamstring, definitely glad to have him back in the special teams game.
Jake, you're going to have to tell Mike to get rid of his Patrick Mahomes.
I was just going to say, I noticed that. So, all right, we're going to come clean on this one. So we had a Chiefs show a while back, a couple weeks ago when we played the Kansas City Chiefs, the little pregame show. And who was it? Me and Brett. I think it was me and Brett doing the show. We had an anonymous caller call in, and we think it was Pat Mahomes. But really, at the end of the day, there's been a lot of rumors swirling around that it was Mike Thornton. So as you can see, when we go dark or when we go off camera, we still have the silhouette of Pat Mahomes on there. So hilarious. Now it doesn't do it for Cody. So it only probably does it for the admins or something like that. That's hilarious. I love it.
I was like, what the heck?
Anyways, going to the Bills injury report. I want to talk a little bit about that. So Mecole Hardman going to be out with a calf injury. That's unfortunate. This dude had a juice play, and really all the special teams last week went off. Him and Ray Davis, my gosh, I mean, some incredible returns by those guys. Mecole Hardman, 61-yard kickoff return. Felt like that was almost going to be a house call, but just a really good way to start his Bills career off. But then he follows it up with a muffed punt return, where he actually caught it, but then he fumbled on the punt return. So after that, did not come back in the game, and they said it was a calf injury, and I guess he's going to miss this game against the Texans. So it must be a little more serious than we thought. Hate to see that though, because this is a guy I was really excited about. Sean, what do we make of that?
Yeah, well, I don't even think he's played a snap this year with Green Bay. I think he was just a practice squad guy, so maybe he just tweaked something, and they're like, it's not that serious, but take this Thursday off and try to get right for we got 10 days off until the next game, so maybe they're just trying to be cautious with him, and it sucks because you're like, oh, he's gonna get it at the 50, maybe he'll have a nice return, and but everyone has a bad play. I'm still excited for him. I think it's a massive upgrade for anything we had, and not that Davis didn't do good last week, but up until this past week, the return game's been horrible, even with Davis. Mm-hmm. So it was nice. I don't know if it was just Tampa Bay was really bad at kick coverage, but it's exciting to see that the special teams return is finally getting us some good field. And when you got good field with the offense we got, it gives you great opportunities. But that's why it was like at one point I think we had only 42 offensive plays the whole game, and we scored 44 points.
Yep.
And Tampa Bay had like 70. So, it's the short field is very helpful for what we want to do.
I think that just instills so much confidence too in your offense when you're starting at the 40-yard line as compared to the 20 every single time. I mean, what a difference. You saw a lot less, runs on first down even. We're throwing the ball. We're being more aggressive. It just totally changes the full landscape of how you can run and operate on the offensive side of the ball. So, yeah, absolutely love it. Chris Tabor in his bag last week, as your boy Eric J. Turner said. And I 100% agree. I mean, the guy was incredible. By the way, a matchup of two special team coaches that are just titans of the industry. And Frank Ross, shout out to him. I got to give him some love because this is a man that went to my alma mater, John Carroll University, set records there as a receiver, just got inducted into their Hall of Fame, and is one of the best special teams coaches in football. This dude brings the juice every freaking week, Code. How do you feel about Frank Ross? Give him some love, brother.
Oh, he's awesome. I mean, anytime that like Tommy Townsend puts a ball inside of the 5 and Coffin corners a punt, or we get a tackle on like the 20 to the 25 on this new kickoff coverage, he is absolutely juiced running down the sidelines. I mean, he looks like, it's probably the wrong way to say, because I immediately went to like, he looks like he's just a kid out there. But then I was like, he looks like he's freaking Pete Carroll out there with how excited he is every single time that something good happens for this team. Comp. So I absolutely love the amount of juice that he brings to this team. Absolutely identifies with the swarm mentality that D'Amico Ryans brings. It feels like it's just a match made in heaven between those two. And would not trade the special teams that this unit has for anything else in the league.
I love it. Yeah, it's great stuff. You got to give him some love. Yeah, I went to John Carroll University my first year of school, played football there, and you always hear about Frank Ross, and talking about his records and everything. And me being a receiver, like that's a guy that I look up to. And then he goes into the coaching program and works his way up and grinds his way, and he's found a really good home there in Houston. So shout out to him, man. He's just tremendous. So excited for you guys with him. Let's talk about some of the other injuries here. So We already know that Dalton Kincaid, we learned about this yesterday, that he was going to be out with a hamstring injury. We figured as much that would be the case. We thought, even IR was a potential for him. I'm surprised he hasn't gone on the IR, considering he's missed multiple games already. It absolutely sucks because, Cody, you kind of mentioned it. You're kind of happy that he's not playing in this game because it's an advantage that we could have, taken full advantage of, if you will, right? But, missing Kincaid in this one, it definitely hurts because he truly is our number one guy. If we're talking, in terms of offensive production as a pass catcher on this team this year, at least. So definitely hurts. But we do have Dawson Knox and, of course, my boy, Jackson Hawes, who we're going to see a whole lot of. That's probably going to have to chip a lot against your defensive ends in this game. So we shall see. Kaliki Latu might call him up again. Caught his first NFL pass last week. Might catch another one. We'll see. Fadarian Mathis, listed as questionable, defensive tackle. Has played actually pretty well, I think, when he's come in and had the opportunity. He's a former second-round pick himself. But, yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. But let's talk a little bit about this, Sean, because the run game against our defense has been a thorn. You had mentioned really a lot of it kind of is on the linebackers, not filling their gaps, not hitting the right hole, all that stuff. Now, I want to say I do apologize for some of the slander I threw at them last week because Deion Walker played a hell of a game against the Bucs last week. Did some really good things in the run game, and it's gone unnoticed just because they did run for over 200 yards against us. But talk to me a little bit about that interior defensive line and how you think they've been playing, especially against the run.
I mean, I think this defensive line, the total statistic may not be there, what people thought, but a significant improvement from last year all across the board. Yeah, Bosa gets sucked in a little bit here and there on RPOs, but, it is what it is. But overall, Walker comes in. People say in our fan base are like, oh, he's not going to be able to be a run defense guy. He can't be a one tech. He's just a pass rusher. But it's like, dude, he's probably the best run defender on the team. Like,
yeah,
entire team. Like, doesn't matter what position. He can't get pushed back. I haven't seen one piece of game film so far where he got obliterated or even with a double team. He's either controlling it, or maybe he takes a step back, but he still controls the push, and he's always involved with something. So, he's been incredible. And as far as run defense goes, like I said, it's a total team effort. But if you can't tackle right, you're not going to stop the run correctly, because a lot of the stuff that happens is either they're in position and miss the tackle, and then he goes an extra 10 plus yards, or they're out of position and then the guy goes, and then it's an easy matchup against a small corner like Trey White or Jordan Poyer. So there's been games where we did really well. We shut Breece Hall down. It happens all the time now with Breece Hall and us, but he's a great running back. We shut him down. The Carolina Panthers run offense they had like 3 weeks in a row where they got 200 plus rushing yards. We shut them down. Even the Patriots, they scored 2 rushing touchdowns, but I don't even think they got 60 total yards rushing.
The Chiefs too. The Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs. People say, it's Kareem Hunt, but he's been solid. So we've been able to do it. And even this game, I was talking with Mike the other night. Everyone was like, "Oh man, this run defense was awful." Tucker had 106 yards. That's all right. White had 50 yards. That's all right. We shut Ibuka down, and Baker was able to throw a little bit, but he had like 160 passing yards. So they ran for, with Baker's yards about 200, but at the end of the day, if the offense if Josh didn't give him a interception at the 5 where it's 3 points, and then if Hardman doesn't fumble at the 50 when we went 3 and we got him to go 3 and out, and they end up scoring a touchdown that drive, maybe the defense doesn't look that bad. Maybe they don't get the extra 50 yards rushing or the 10 points extra. So, they gave up some plays. They gave up some points, but the offense didn't help them out any, and, with those turnovers. So I know Cole Bishop got one back. I'm not saying this defense is good. They're average. They can play above average, but they're average. So I'm not gonna really kill them for the performance last week, because I also don't think White and Tucker are scrubs at all. So I'm not gonna go out here and say that. So Yeah.
The Bucs have a very underrated offensive line too. I'll be honest with you. Their 2 tackles are incredible too.
Yeah,
they
for
really
sure.
are. And the interior is good.
I think having to worry about if Baker's gonna pull out and run the ball makes everybody have to think extra, and that's what happened with Bosa a couple times. He just went after the running back, crashed down, and then Baker pulled out, and there he's off for the races. So, but yeah, I mean, this really just tackling is the biggest issue, and linebackers that can't tackle are a detriment.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm not ready to sound the alarm on this defense, but Cody, talk to me a little bit about Woody Marks and Nicholas Chubb, and will we see any of your boy Dare Ogunbowale on 3rd down or something like that? What do we think?
I mean, anytime Dare Ogunbowale goes into the game, I definitely get fully excited. But I probably shouldn't be, because he's really not that great. He's more of a special teams glue guy, but we love the special teams glue guys, and I absolutely love me some Ogunbowale. But I do believe it'll be a little bit more of the Woody Marks show. We saw last week the snap percentage between these two. Woody Marks at 66% of the snaps and Nick Chubb at 26% of the snaps. A large split between what we've been seeing for the first, how many ever the games of the season now, 10 games of the season, as we're heading into week 11, I believe. And so that's the first time that Woody Marks has really been kind of like more of the featured back in this offense. So I think you'll see a lot of Woody Marks in this game. Now, it didn't really convert to much for Woody Marks in this game. 18 carries for 44 yards against the Tennessee Titans isn't what you want to see. This offensive line in the run game is still highly suspect. And I do believe it's the key factor, though, because there's been some games where the Texans have actually been pretty good over the past 5 games, and over the course of the entire season. And one of the X factors that I was coming into this show thinking about is just like, can the Texans run the ball? Against, the Buffalo Bills narrative is that they just can't stop the run. And I know it hasn't been exactly that over the past couple of games, but if the Texans have ran the ball over 100 yards, they have 28 points per game this year. If they're under 100 yards, it's 15.8 points per game this year. And then that also goes into the other portion of how I think they have to win this game, if they have any shot of doing it, is they have to control the time of possession, keep Josh Allen off the field, and that happens through being able to run the ball and getting first downs by running the ball. You have to play this game like it's that San Francisco 49ers game that the Texans played a couple weeks ago, where they had 41 minutes and 22 seconds of time of possession in that game. They had a 9-minute and 32-second drive to start the game. And they did it by running the ball. 16 plays on that drive. Like, that is how this team has to win it on offense to be able to have any chance, in my opinion.
And you wear a defense down by doing that. And it's very doable. I will say, I mean, we've seen it happen to us. The Dolphins did it against us multiple times. They had multiple 10-plus play drives, and they won that game. So, yeah, that might be the key to success for you guys. I 100% agree. It was interesting, too, looking at the numbers. Woody Marks and Nick Chubb both had the same amount of carries this year.
99, right? Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And by the way, Nick Chubb, not too bad of a season considering what he has gone through. This dude has torn every ligament in like both knees, and he's 30 years old. He's leading your team in rushing and averaging 4.2 yards a carry. So what he's doing with it, it's not like all world or what Nick Chubb was 4 years ago, but still a formidable back and a guy that can carry the rock.
And I still want to see more Nick Chubb. Like, I'm not the biggest Woody Marks fan. I know he's more explosive. I just don't think he's a runner between the tackles. Like, if you want to use him on like 3rd down stuff, except for the fact that he can't pass pro, you can use him like that. But I would still love to see 1st and 2nd down Nick Chubb, because he has been better over the course of the year. Woody Marks obviously has a better chance of breaking off a long one to go for explosive plays in the run game. I fully get that, but I would still like to see more Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, talk to me a little bit about some of the other weapons. You know, we talked a little bit about Nico Collins. He is quarterback proof and a guy that's going to go off. And honestly, I think that game last year would have been a lot like more lopsided had Nico Collins stayed in that game, because really it started off with a monster touchdown to him, and after that he went out with like a hammy issue, right? So
yeah, I think he pulled the hammy on the touchdown grab that he got, and then was out for the rest of the game. Also should have been out for the rest of the game, Josh Allen, but, smelling salts can be attributed to players that they can't be attributed to in this year, but, we'll keep that one out of the memory. No, it's basically Nico Collins. We got Christian Kirk and the Iowa State Cyclone boys, because we've got Xavier Hutchinson is probably going to be like the wide receiver 2 for this team. And then you've got Jaden Higgins, who's been coming on recently as of late. And then you've got Jalen Knoll as well, who's probably going to be used more of just as a returner in this game, but he will sneak his way onto the field in replacement of Christian Kirk every once in a while. A lot of people love Jalen Knoll from like the scouting community and fantasy football community. I didn't see it as much. I like Jaden Higgins more. But the Iowa State Cyclone boys with 3 of them on the same NFL team is pretty wild. And you'll see a mix in rotation between those 4 guys, the 3 Iowa State boys, and then Christian Kirk. But this is pretty much going to have to be the Nico Collins show, yeah.
Well, don't forget about your boy, Dalton Schultz. The guy has been going off this year.
He's been
not going off, but he is. I mean, in fantasy at least, he's been pretty good for me.
He's been averaging like 65 yards a game, and I was going to say that is wild for the guy that I literally call him one of the most boring tight ends in the league. He's a 50 catch, 500 yard, and 5 touchdown guy every single year. He has stepped up this year, and really, especially with Davis Mills, actually, he's been kind of the safety valve for Davis Mills over the past 2 weeks. I really enjoy what Dalton Schultz has been putting on the field. And last week, he only played 17 snaps last week, but we're getting him back and probably ramped up a little bit more. Cade Stover out of Ohio State, rookie tight end, will actually be, I would assume his snaps to take up a little bit as well, and I'm excited to see what he brings.
Stover's nice, man. I liked him a lot, and I did a lot of like scouting reports on him throughout that draft process for our boy Keith, who's a Dolphins fan, because he wanted the Dolphins to take a tight end, and your Texans got him, in the 4th round or something like that, right?
Sounds right.
I think it was the 4th. Yeah. But yeah, nice player. I like Cade Stover. Yeah, that's definitely a name to look out for. You know, I love talking me some tight ends. You want to talk about anytime touchdowns to hammer. I had mentioned it, but Jackson Hawes is going to be playing a lot, I feel like, in this game, especially because you guys have 2 of the best defensive ends in football, and Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson, right? So we're going to have some extra help there chipping. And the Bills don't really run as much heavy with an extra offensive lineman. It's been Jackson Hawes. He has the athleticism to go out and catch passes, and he's a really, really good blocker, a really great inline blocker. So I'm going to hammer him for an anytime touchdown, and if I'm hammering anyone for the Texans, maybe I'm going to throw some money on Cade Stover. Why not? Just a nobody. We're all looking out for Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Woody Marks, Nick Chubb. No, Cade Stover going to score a touchdown in this game tomorrow. Clip it.
I'll throw it on the apparent. I love British Brooks, but for the last game that they were, I love British Brooks, but the last game that they were out there, they were actually rolling out Jakob Johnson.
I
love back.
Yes.
So I will throw out the Jakob Johnson.
Man, that's fun. Gosh. And I'll tell you what, Jakob Johnson, former Pro Bowl fullback. He spent some years in New England. Then he went to Las Vegas. Now he's with you guys. That Patriots blood runs deep. I know you guys got Caserio as your GM now, so it's making all the difference in the world.
Patriots South. We've been the Patriots South for years.
Yeah, you really have been. How do you feel about Caserio? You like him?
Okay, so I do like him overall, but I have to vent on this one because I've been putting like into the other Discords that I've been putting out like weekly reminders to people. I can't get over this one. This is one of the most egregious errors that I have seen from this past draft and over the past many drafts that the Houston Texans have done. The Los Angeles Rams currently own the Atlanta Falcons' first-round pick for next year, and the Atlanta Falcons now have lost Michael Penix for the rest of the year. They were garbage before that. They had a couple of like up and down games, but then they also got blown out like 30-0 by the Panthers, who apparently look a little bit better. But even last week, people were already calling for Bryce Young's head again. So I don't know what they are. But they own their first-round pick.
Yeah.
The pick before the Los Angeles Rams pick that they traded away, the Texans traded out of the first round with the New York Giants for the New York Giants to go and get Jackson Dart. We got a second and 2/3 in return for that. Meanwhile, the Rams got a second and a first for the pick after. How you don't know that offer is on the board
horrible
while you trade for a second and a 2/3 is egregious by all accounts.
That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad.
So they're going to have probably a top 10 pick. And we'll get 2/3 this year.
God, that one stings a little bit. I feel for you, brother. That's tough. Yeah.
I can't get over that one. I will forever have that one cemented in my brain.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That is not great. Nick Caserio, yikes. So we thought Bean was on the hot seat, but maybe Caserio's even on a hotter seat right now.
And you can't draft offensive linemen, and you trade out of the first round every single year to then
Right.
get guys like Ariante Ursary, who I guess he's been all right, but he's definitely not a stalwart right tackle or left tackle for you. And you keep trading out of the first round. We keep having offensive line issues, and we keep bringing in guys that have been journeymen for $10 million a year and then don't even play them. It's been rough. I have my issues.
I was going to say Trent Brown, he's starting for you, right? Is he?
He's in starting right tackle right now, I believe.
Yeah. How has he been?
I'm not going to be the guy out here telling you how the offensive line individual players have been playing. I just know that the offensive unit as a whole has been exactly what everybody pictured at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, not great. Not great. It's interesting, too, because you did get Jake Matthews, right? Or not Jake Matthews, Jake Andrews, the center.
Andrews, yeah.
Another New England guy, by the way. And then Blake Fisher.
He's our
backup.
He's our sixth jumbo.
Swing tackle?
He's our sixth jumbo O lineman right now. Yeah.
Okay. And you still have Titus Howard, who I like.
Titus Howard's by far easily.
He's your best.
Yeah.
And I like Juice Scruggs. I don't know what happened there. He kind of fell out of the lineup a little bit, right? Because he was playing center for a little bit.
Yeah, Andrews is taking over for him as the center.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. It's a very interesting makeup, to say the least. You brought in Lake and Tomlinson too, is that right?
Yeah,
I think he's a backup too. He's not even.
And he was the big like $13 million addition that we were really solidified around, and he hasn't even played yet.
That's not great. All right, so I see a mismatch there a little bit because I think our D line. I'll say this: I think our ends, especially, they are due for a big day, and by ends I mean more so Greg Rousseau because he's been very quiet. Sean, let's talk a little bit about the defensive end play. How do you feel about Bosa and Rousseau and how those guys have handled the last few weeks? I think Bosa's definitely like outperformed a lot of expectations, and he's actually been healthy. I say healthy-ish. Talk to me about like what's going on there. Do you think Rousseau has kind of lived up to that contract, or not about it?
It's by far his best year. I mean, he still has games where he doesn't really do anything pass rush wise, but overall, he's had a lot of good games, I think. And last week he was good when run defense and forcing other guys to make tackles. He got to Baker. Actually, meant to say him and Bosa. Majority of our pressures came from him and Bosa. So Tristan Wirfs, he beat Tristan Wirfs 2 or 3 times, and then Bosa on Goedke beat him a couple times, and really the interior kind of pressure-wise locked everybody down until near the very end. But yeah, if you can beat Tristan Wirfs 2 times in a game, I mean, he gave up 3 pressures. So I mean, if you could beat him a couple of times, he's one of the best tackles in the league. So he didn't get a sack, and he had an arm on Baker, and then that's what his biggest flaw is. He could get to quarterback, but can't bring quarterback down. He's big for no reason.
Jerry Hughes.
So
yeah,
but I mean, overall, I think it's his best year by far, and Bosa's been an animal. We're one of the top pressure generating teams in the league. I know you want sacks, which surprisingly we're above the Texans in sacks, only by 1. But
yeah, that's crazy.
We've been talking about how great their defensive ends are, but I mean, the sack percentages and the pressure rates aren't really what you would think they would be. Surprisingly, they're 14th in sacks, and we're like 13th. But again, it seems like the Broncos are up here, and then everyone else is kind of, falling in by there. But yeah, I mean, obviously Greg Rousseau is not Will Anderson or Danielle Hunter, but I'm surprised that he's been having such a good year considering what he's been doing.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. Good analysis there, Sean. Appreciate it. Let's go to the comments again here. I feel like I've been missing people here. I saw Tommy was in there. He said, just reporting on the
that was like 30 minutes ago.
I know, it was a long I'm the worst with the comments. I really do apologize. I'm going to get to them. It just sometimes, I lose track. I'm all over the place. I'm a golden retriever. I'm just like squirrel, and I just go on to the next thing. That's me. That's me to a T. Tommy, appreciate you jumping in. If you're still out there, love you, brother. Great to see you. Steve saying, I will take my chances with 6 TDs and 2 turnovers every week. Hell yeah, Steve.
Yeah,
for sure.
That'd be cool. I mean, that would
Playing
be
loose.
What's 6 times 17? Like
6 times 17, 6 times, let's see, 15,
2,
90.
112, 102.
102 touchdowns in a year. I'll take that.
Yeah, right? That's crazy.
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't it? Trek, I love the draft analysis already, talking about D tackles. Caleb Banks from Florida, 6'6", 325. Oof. Talked about Xavier Harris in the last show, 6'7", 320. Yeah, that dude's a dog. And your boy, I'll tell you what, this year you want to talk about a really good position group to draft. Edges. It's going to be a great year for edge. Absolutely. Which
we'll probably get 0.
I was just going to say, don't.
The best year for edge, we'll get none.
Of course, and every year we usually take defensive ends, so it's just wild. Steve saying Bernard Milano and Taron Johnson have been in need of a mash unit most of the season. Hate to see it, but it's killing us. Yeah, 100% agree. When is it time to have the conversation of potentially starting Cam Lewis over Taron Johnson?
I'm gonna have to say, I would do it. I mean,
yeah,
you could tell, like talent wise, I don't think Cam could ever be what Taron was. I don't think Bernard could be. I don't think Williams could be what Milano was in his prime. But at this point in time, they're faster, they're more athletic, and they understand just as much as they do. So it's like you're kind of just putting them out there, not out of pity, but because they've been here for so long. And it's like, you were this person for us. We got to keep you out there. And I don't hate those guys. I don't hate Taron Johnson. I think he's great still, but he's no longer the best nickel corner in the league anymore. You know, he's slow. He's just doesn't have the same acceleration and, closing speed. Now Cam Lewis is breaking up passes. He's always tight knit to the receiver. Now, again, he's not the best in the league, but he's been good enough and the better player in that position. So I'd be fine with putting him out there. And I know Shaq Thompson's old, but he's better than Milano, unfortunately. And then until at least Bernard gets better and healthy, put Williams out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shaq Thompson honestly looks 4 years younger in this defense right now. I mean, he played under McDermott early on in his career, and I'll tell you what, it's really benefited him. He looks faster, and he's in the right place at the right time, it seems to be. So I love what he's brought to the team, and I'm hoping he can get healthy and play sooner rather than later. So
I think we'll disrespect see Shaq this week, though. He hasn't missed practice, so
yeah, I did see that. That's a good sign. Trek saying, I also like these two DBs in the draft. Amari Farrell from Indiana, safety, 6 foot, 200, passes Mike standards. Jalen Kilgore, South Carolina guy, absolutely. By the way, Texas A&M, God, you guys put the freaking hurt on us on Saturday. I say us very lightly. It's hard to be affiliated with South Carolina football these days, but brutal.
I mean, y'all put the hurt on us in the first half.
Yeah, 30-3, and then 31-3 victory, or 31-30 victory. Unbelievable.
Speaking of safeties, I like that safety from Florida State. Little, is that his name?
Oh yes, yeah. I think he's Earl Little's son.
I saw him like the first 3 weeks because they were on TV a lot, and I was just like, man, this guy's he's like a shot out of a cannon, just going crazy and just breaking up passes, laying people out. And I don't know how he finished the year, but I liked how he started. So I mean, I don't know if he's going to turn out to be anything in the league, but he was a guy that from the start I was like, safety, okay. I mean,
yeah,
he might, and I think he's good size, height and weight. So
might be a guy.
See.
Cam just wants to do, or Trek wants to do anything to get Cam Lewis off our team. Unbelievable. Mike loves the Cam Lewis talk. We're all about Cam. Hashtag extend Cam. Right, Code? Extend.
Hashtag extend.
I think hasn't he been extended by now? I feel like he's been here for like 5 years.
Yeah, he has. He's on a 2-year deal, maybe. I think so. Something like that.
Hashtag restructure for Cam then.
Yeah. It's not really even an extension, though, because we let him hit free agency, but then we just brought him back on like a 2-year deal. It was like a hometown discount type thing,
He's a bring your lunch. I mean, it's funny because I always tell Mike, it's like Cam does a lot of good things, but then the worst thing that happens in the game, it's always Cam Lewis is right there. So it's like, not that he's bad the entire game, but it always sticks out to you. Like there was a big run against Miami. It was like the 80-yard or the 60-yard, 68-yard run. Cam Lewis missed a tackle that sprung him.
Yeah, I know.
And I was just like, but he was so good earlier. It's just, I like to tease Mike about it, but yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, Steve's saying Dorian Strong could have been a very solid replacement. Yeah, honestly, it sucks. Like, supposedly his career may be in jeopardy. It sounds like he has what Aaron Williams had with the neck, and I don't know. I don't know if he's going to still be able to play football, but yeah, I thought Dorian Strong honestly was more pro ready than even Maxwell Hairston, and we've seen what Hairston's done. He's been very impressive. A lot of people even questioning whether he was on the field last week, but by the way, he did play 33 snaps as an outside corner. Didn't really allow much against a really good Tampa Bay receiving core, even with the injuries. I mean, Ibuka was out there. Sterling Shepard's been very solid this year. And then Tez Johnson is fast as hell. So not an easy task by any means. And I really I've been impressed with the young man. So excited about Hairston's career. Hopefully will be a guy, you know?
Yeah, whenever you don't hear the cornerback's name, unless he's making a pick, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Absolutely, Code. Absolutely. Cam is the perfect player for the Jets. He can't cover or tackle. Yikes. All right. You know what? I'm done with the Cam Lewis slander. Trek, I love it, though. No, I appreciate your insight always, brother. Always good to see you out there. Let's move on to the final segment here, just kind of talking about how the Texans could potentially win this game and how the Bills can. So, Cody, I want to talk to you first about this. You had mentioned potentially the strategy and how they're going to take care of Josh Allen. So I want to hear it again, just so all the viewers know what to look out for as we're watching tomorrow night.
Offensively, they have to be able to run the ball. I threw the stats out there earlier of the 100-yard splits for the run game. They've been scoring 28 points if they can run the ball over 100 yards. They've been at 15.8 points average for the course of the year if they're under 100 yards. So that's going to be a major factor for me in this game. Davis Mills. Shout out to Davis Mills. He gets $50K bonus check every single game that he plays over 50% of snaps. So good for him, for starting another game. Good for you, Dougie Mills. And he's weirdly been pretty clutch over the past couple of games that he's played. So this will be his fourth game. The last three games that he played was the Colts game in 2022, where at the end of the game, he threw for an octopus, throwing the 40-yard completion of the end zone and the 2-point conversion that got the Texans the second place pick in the 2023 or the 2024 draft that allowed them to pick CJ Stroud instead of Bryce Young. So yeah. I'm definitely good by that. And then you have you had the Jags touchdown run at the very end of the game where did not know that you had that in you, Dougie Mills. That was an awesome run into the corner of the end zone, diving at the pylon. And then the Titans game, he threw about a 15-yard in-breaker to Nico Collins, I believe it was, and then that set him up for a field goal to win this game. So he has been clutch in the fourth quarter so far. Maybe we can see a little bit more of that. Before I'm off this one, we'll throw a couple numbers out there as well. The Bills on Thursday Night Football numbers, Bills 8-0 on their past Thursday Night Football games.
Ooh,
Texans are 0-3 in their last Thursday Night Football games.
Okay.
But the Texans.
By the way, though, the Bills have not won in Houston since 2006.
And that's the last one. The Texans versus the Bills head-to-head is 62 over the last 8 games.
Yeah, and the Bills, for whatever reason, when we go down and play in Houston, I don't know what it is, man, something in the air. We just don't have a lot of success. I remember that game the last time we beat the Texans, and I think it was 2006. Lee Evans had a franchise record in receiving yards that game. He went off. It was 265 yards or something ridiculous.
Yep.
Monster day for him. And he had 280-plus yard receiving touchdowns. So if our receiving core can channel that energy, that would be great. Would love to see it. Sean, talk to me.
Defensive side of the ball real quick. Just do what you do as a Texans team. You need to be able to contain. You need to be able to contain Cook. You need to be able to contain Josh Allen, and the corners just play like you normally do. That's really it. Can you also get pressure with this very good offensive line that you all have? And honestly, I think you need a case study on your offensive line with how many continuous games that they've played together. I know it hasn't been perfect this season, but the amount of games that they've played together over the past 4 years is an incredible stretch of them being healthy. But yeah, Danielle Hunter and Anderson, get your pressure that you need to get off of a 4-base rush and get actual pressure on Josh Allen, keep him contained. But the defense, I'm not worried about. It's really just the offense and the run game.
Shire will probably be the spy, is what you're thinking too, right?
Yeah, I think they'll play plug man and Al Shire as a spy. Yeah. I honestly I don't hope for this, but I would be worried about Josh Allen in this game because Al Shire he plays at like 1,000% level of juice every single time he's on the field. I would not be surprised if after this game he's suspended for a hit on Josh Allen, because he will just level a guy 3 yards out of bounds, or he will just pile drive a quarterback into the ground for absolutely no reason. We've seen it multiple times over the last 2 years. I love the swarm mentality that he plays with, but he needs to reel it in a little bit to just even play at 110% of a level, not 10,000% of a level whenever you're out there on the field, Alshair.
Oh, I remember the last matchup against him. It was ridiculous, man. I mean, I think he get suspended after that, following that game?
He got suspended last year for the hit on Trevor Lawrence. That was the concussion that knocked him out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oof,
it was like his 15th offense in the last like 4 years. So they're like,
it's every game.
That's
reckless abandonment that he plays with.
Yeah, he's one of the guys I don't enjoy, but because I feel like you could play 150% but not do what he does. And he just does it because he wants to, and he gets away with it most of the time. So I also agree. I don't look forward to him, hitting Allen late. But what I do like is I know we'll get the flag. So that's fine with me. As long as he doesn't hit him in the head and knock him out for multiple weeks, that's fine with me. But if I'm Josh Allen and I know that he's going to be trying to hurt you, I'm not gonna slide so you get a free shot at my head. I'm gonna try to lay you out myself, and it might not work out, but I mean, you gotta protect yourself. And if you're exposing your head like this and you slide down, you're not protecting yourself as much as you think it is. But
it's facts. Yeah. What do you want to see from this team tomorrow night, Sean? I mean, obviously a win, but
yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
That's the start.
But yeah, I mean, the best way that we could win is if we score more points than the Texans do. No. I had to use my.
I'm not afraid to boat race anyone, honestly. After that Tampa game
analysis, but no, I mean, honestly, I don't look at records. I don't look at who's starting quarterback. I don't look at coaching, because I don't look at even we haven't won in Houston in this long, or Buffalo's 8-0 in the Thursday night, which is really cool. But I just think about how we were 14-2 against Miami, and then we went and got destroyed by 17 to a team that didn't even deserve to be on the field with us. So, yeah, Texas might be 5-5. They might have Davis Mills, who I did say 3 years ago, I was like, he's better than Tua. But then he never got opportunities after that to prove it. But I always had a little bit of love for Davis Mills.
I like Davis Mills.
But, yeah, I mean, just like against Miami, if we throw 3 picks and fumble a punt return and Houston doesn't have any turnovers, that's a real easy recipe for a team like that to win at home. Obviously, they got a phenomenal defense, but I'm a little upset with you, Jake. All this chip talk. When was the last time we had a chipper on with our offensive line?
Not often, but we don't often play. Chippers? I mean, we got 2 all-world DNs we're going up against here, Sean. I know our O-line's good.
That's all right. That's what they're for. That's why the tackles get paid the big bucks.
You're right. He's not. By the way, Spencer Brown last game, God, that guy's a psychopath. I love it. Fun to watch, man. Fun to watch.
No, it's not that Hunter and Will Anderson are incredible, but that's why you pay tackles the money you do, and that's why you pay guards to help, because if you're against a situation like this, you want Dawkins one-on-one. You want Brown one-on-one, because then you got the guards to help with the other guys and pick up blitz and things like that. Dawkins isn't Will Campbell, who needs a chipper every single time to beat Myles Garrett. He's a veteran, top tackle in this league. And, yeah, he might lose a rep or two, but that's how it is all the time. These guys are best of the best talent going against each other. We're going to see Will Anderson win a rep or two. We're going to see Dawkins win a rep or two. But I think, obviously, we'll see Haas block too. And, maybe if they're bringing a lot – I don't know if you guys blitz a lot, Cody, but – you saw a little bit last week when they were bringing a lot of blitz up the middle. They had even Knox in a running back's position to pick up a blitz inside. So, I mean, if you guys start blitzing, maybe we'll see Haas in there. But give our tackle some respect, Jake. Come on.
I love that, Sean. No, thank you. We need that. Some swagger, man. We got a good offensive line. Cody said it himself. I mean, it is the most consistent offensive line unit probably over the last 4 seasons. Definitely over the last 2 to 3.
And I know our sack total is not way up, but already surpassed what it was last year, but our pressure rate is, I think we're second least amount of pressure is given up in the league. So a lot of those sacks are, which again,
self-induced.
I don't consider them sacks, but when Josh Allen starts scrambling and he runs up the middle and gets tackled at the line of scrimmage, they count that as a sack because he didn't get past the line of scrimmage. That was about 4 or 5 of them. And there was a couple where Allen's running around 30 yards, behind the line of scrimmage trying to throw a ball, and then he doesn't throw it away for some reason, and then he gets sacked. So I know the number looks bad, and it frustrates me too because I'm just like, I know people that hate the Bills or people that don't think the line's that good are going to say something, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great matchup, I think, especially how great their secondary is. You gotta kind of try to, because they're so aggressive, screen passes, short passes, and then try to open stuff up with the run game, and then maybe you can get a Shavers on a slant route or an in-breaking route or a deep crosser because he's got the height, and maybe you can hit him deep. But again, I'm not going to try to test these guys deep all the time because they're absolutely phenomenal. But this is a game where I'm fine with seeing 8 screen passes. I'm fine with seeing 5-yard outs and slants because that's the type of team that's the type of game plan you got to have against a team with an incredible defense like that, because you don't want to give them opportunities to pick the ball off. You don't want to give them opportunities to get a strip sack if you're holding the ball for 5 seconds waiting for Shavers to get open downfield on Stingley. You know what I mean? So, but I think Cook will have a good game. This is the last thing I'll say because I don't want to go on a big tangent. But I know it seems like he's been stopped the last 2 weeks. But against Miami, I mean, he was averaging 4 yards a carry, but we had to stop running. And then this game, when we ran toss, I don't know why we even ran toss because their secondary and linebacking core is super aggressive, and we got nothing out of it. And then when we started running zone and gap run schemes, we were getting 5 yards. Ty Johnson had a 9-yard carry. Cook had a couple good carries. I don't know why we didn't go from that from the beginning.
I agree.
But I think maybe they were worried about Vita Vea, but still, he's just one guy. And then if you're stretching that way, then you go the other, or even counter. We didn't really run counter in the beginning either. Run the ball. If you can run the ball well, take care of the football, then you have a good opportunity. But just don't let it come down to a field goal, because the Bills always lose on the craziest field goal attempt ever. The 59-yarder to Fairbairn
last year. Yeah.
Jake Elliott in a monsoon on the grass.
I was
61 yards to go into overtime. And then It was funny because I think that same year Fairbairn missed like a 40-yarder to lose it it was a game winner potential, and then he missed it. I was like, you can't miss that against us. But you make so just don't let it come down to a field goal, because they're gonna sink it. But it's not going to be easy for sure. It's going to be a tough game.
They're saying take Houston plus 6.5. So I hope it doesn't come down to a field goal. If that's the case, you hit on your bet.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think
good to see out there though.
I think if we could get 24, it could be like 24-21 type of game. But you got to take care of the football, because like Cody was saying, they've shown that they can do long, sustained drives, and even with Davis Mills, I mean, he put up 30-something on the Jaguars, and it wasn't like 20 of them in the fourth quarter.
Yep, massive fourth quarter comeback to bring that one back.
And again, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz. I want to see some Harrison on Collins, just because I want him to be tested more too, because I want him on the best, because he's our future at corner. So I'm sure Benford will be on him too. But he's going to get some. He's gonna get his catches, his deep balls. But if we can maybe force Mills into kind of what Tua did, third down, maybe he'll throw a toss up in the air, and then Harrison could catch up and get a pick, or maybe it's an underthrown ball. But it'll be interesting. We need this one. I know the Texans need it too, but that's why it's like a playoff game, and I love it. Even if it's Davis Mills, I'm not gonna. He's been here in the league for a long time. He's been with the same team since he's been drafted. He's seen it all. I mean, he's seen a lot of stuff in the NFL. So I wouldn't be shocked if he had a good game.
I like Davis Mills, man. I do. Mills Mafia meets Bills Mafia. Love what John said here too. You talk about throwing screens and whatnot. Throw it to the backs, man. We saw it last week. It was awesome. James Cook can be used in more way than just running the football, right? Throw him the ball. Throw Ty Johnson the ball. Get those guys involved, because I think they are really special in the pass game. So, Yeah, absolutely, John. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone out there in the chat. Guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching the show after the fact, leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts. I know this is like literally the day before the game, so really excited. We're going to be doing post-game tomorrow night right after the game. Cody, if you want to join us again, you're more than welcome. We'll send that offer to you.
Yeah, we'll see how many I've put down before then, before we make
Fair
that
enough.
commitment.
Listen,
we'll see.
Sean's been on a
it's
couple shows with me where I've been a little inebriated. So
whatever it's 30-3, I don't know if that's going to be the best spot, but no, I'll put that on the calendar. We should be good for that.
I love it. Sounds good, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you boys joining me tonight. It was a fun show.
Yeah, it's always fun.
As always, love everyone out there in the chat. It was a good one. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night. That's about all I got for you guys. But listen, it's going to be a good one. Not going to be a blowout like Cody says. The Bills are going to play steady. I think they're going to come away with a win. 30-13. I like that prediction, but I think it's going to be a little closer than that, Code. I'm going to say, I think the Bills do score 30. I'm going to say 31-20 Bills. So still an 11-point game, actually. Maybe.
I would like both of those, but I'm getting all these different scenarios in my head right now. Part of me is thinking like 10-9 or like 16-12. And then I'm like, maybe we could score. Not that we can't score 30, but I was like, maybe we'll score high, but they score high too. And it's like maybe even going to overtime. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But hopefully we win. I mean, go back to
here we go, homers.
Yeah.
What's your prediction? I want to hear it.
Well,
give me your prediction.
I always say I don't like to give predictions, but the team that you're always going to probably pick the team you like. But we all know that we could easily lose this game, just like Miami. I thought, they're due for one. I say it every time we play them, Cody, too. I know you're not in we have a different, like just for me, him, and Mike and Brett in a group chat. I always text before the game. Miami's due for one. They're 2-14 against us. They're due for one. And then it happened. So I wouldn't be shocked.
Bills win, don't cover. All right.
And Giants beat the Eagles. Who was it? The Browns beat the Packers. I mean, not that you guys are like them, but
listen, it's every game.
Anybody can win. So
it's a weird Thursday night football is always weird, and anything can happen in Thursday night football.
Yeah, because they're probably still banged up from Sunday. So, like McDermott said in the post game, he's like, it's about whoever comes in Thursday more rested and healthy, or recovered better, or quicker. So hopefully our guys were in the tubs and the hyperbolic chambers with the ice, gets up to the 300 degrees, and then you're neck down, submerged, and then you get out and you feel really good. Hydraulic, I don't know what it's called, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I did it once. It was scary, but it felt good.
All right, guys. Well, hey, appreciate you all joining us tonight. As always, go Bills. We'll see you tomorrow on the post game. You guys have a great night. Take care. Go Bills.